Hey guys, my name is Blake Kitchens. This is Hound Hogs Barbecue, and today we're cooking Tomahawk Ribeyes. All right, so we're gonna start with trimming. We're really not gonna do a whole lot to these things. We might clean the bones up a little bit. A lot of this fat that's on the outside right here, we're gonna take off just because it's gonna keep our rub from getting to the meat. But other than that, we're gonna keep it kind of simple, and then we'll probably time and butcher twine to make sure they stay together and season them, get them on the grill. Guys, these things are falling apart. You can just tell they're gonna be so tender. Just like, see when I pick this one up, like just how much is just, I mean, I'm gonna have to wrap these things in butcher twine. So that's what I'm gonna do real quick. What I'm gonna do is just pull off a long stretch of it and just see what I can do about getting it to hold together. Try to keep it close to the middle. I'm probably gonna have to try to wrap it around this bone a little bit. And that should probably do the trick to hold it together during the cook. So I'm gonna do that for the other two. Guys, so if you've watched my SCA cook-off video, you'll recognize this seasoning combination. If not, I'll put it up in the corner in a card. But we're just gonna go pretty straightforward. SPG rub, then we're gonna layer it next with a beef rub, which is full of spices. And then we're gonna come on top with just a coarse grind Montreal steak seasoning, just to give it that good crust on the outside. And we're gonna let those sweat in while we heat up the pellet grill. All right, so while we got our second layer of rub soaking into the steaks, sweating in real good, we're gonna go ahead and get these grills started. So this is a Traeger pellet grill. I'm over at my friend Greg's house today. He's got one of these. So this is what we're gonna start with. We're gonna put it on about 250, 275, let it soak up that smoke flavor, and also let it come up to temperature slowly. Because with how thick these steaks are, if we tried to do a really hot method, the inside's just gonna be raw and the outside's gonna be burnt. And so we're gonna start here about 250, 275, and then we're gonna pull them off once they hit 125 degrees, and we're gonna let them rest for a minute so they don't keep cooking, and then we're gonna move it over here to a screaming hot Weber, and we're gonna sear the outside. That way we get that nice crust on the outside. So that's the plan for today. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing started, get that last coat of rub on the steaks, and then we'll get them on the grill. All right, so the smoker is up to temp. Now we're just gonna go ahead and put these on and let them just run until they hit about 120. Now if that's not gonna be good, I don't know what is. Just let them roll. All right, so these things have been on for just under 2 hours. We kind of played between 250, 275. The big ones are temping at about 120. The small ones temp at about 126. So if you come in and you'll look, we're gonna go right in this middle one right here, right in the center part. 125, 126. This one over here is 122. So they are just right to be pulling off, to be kind of between a medium rare, more of the medium rare than a medium. So we're gonna pull these off, let them relax a little bit. We've already got the Weber going over here. It's super hot, and we're gonna sear them off and get them done. All right, so these steaks have kind of calmed down a little bit. They're still running about 125, but they're not climbing anymore. The Weber's running probably 650 right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get these things out of the foil. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna baste them with butter so that they get that good buttery flavor on them. Now this is a compound butter that I'll make that as soon as I put this thing on the sear, I'll show you guys how to make on the video. And so all we're gonna do, we're gonna take this thing over to the Weber. We'll put it right over those coals, cover it up. And yes, I put the butter side down because here in just a second, I'm gonna butter that other side. So check out this video of how to make the butter. So to make this compound butter, we're gonna start with a softened stick of butter. We're also gonna start with about equal parts of softened duck fat. The next thing we're gonna move to is gonna be a teaspoon of minced garlic. Now we're gonna go ahead, once we put that in, and incorporate those three things together. Those are kind of our primary ingredients. So we wanna get those mixed in well. For our spices, we have a half a teaspoon of oregano, a half a teaspoon of thyme, and a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flake. Now, we're not gonna put all this in there, but I just kind of sprinkled it in to where what I thought it needed. And then we're gonna incorporate that and mix it together really good, make sure those herbs and spices get mixed. After that, we're going to move to getting it rolled into a stick of butter. So we're gonna start with a piece of vinyl wrap, lay the butter out on the wrap, and then once we get it kind of on there and spread out a little bit, we're just gonna fold it up and we're gonna make it into a hot dog shape. Once we fold it into that hot dog shape, we're gonna grab the ends and we're just gonna twist it really fast, and it's gonna push all that butter together, and it's gonna make a nice little chunk of butter for us. Put it in the refrigerator, let it set, and then it's ready for you to use to baste your steaks with. All right, it's been about 60 seconds. We're gonna flip it over, see how it looks. Oh yeah, that is good looking right there. So we've already basted both sides, so we're gonna give that one about 60 seconds and we'll see what it looks like. All right, so I've taken the string off, and this last steak is over here searing, so I'm gonna go ahead and taste this one because I got people waiting on me. So we're just gonna cut it off the bone here. Now this one was the most done because it was the smallest. Looks like we got a pretty good medium here. I'm not sure if that shows well on the camera, but that's pink pretty much all the way through. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a sample of this piece right here, right where the spinalis is. It's just what I expect. There's a reason why I do that rub combination. So that was very good. You guys be sure to try this recipe out, but we got people waiting. It's time to get this other one off. We're gonna go inside and we're gonna enjoy our meal. I'll catch you guys later. All right guys, now it's time for what would I change. Now let me tell you, I am slap full. That was so good, and there's not a whole lot I would change with it. And let me tell you, my SCA recipe is pretty good for as far as regular just eating at home. And so the only thing I would change is, even though those steaks were kind of falling apart beforehand, I would still probably soak them in some salt, some coarse kosher salt. Let them sit for about 20 minutes with a bed underneath and covered up in top, because there was some of that connective tissue that was deep in that thing that just didn't render. Obviously you're only cooking it to like 125, 130 degrees, but really that's all I would change. The flavor was good. You know, we had some mashed potatoes, we had some broccoli casserole, we had a whole bunch of that good comfort food, and it was really good. So it's definitely a recipe worth trying as is, but if you want to get a little bit more tender, just go for that kosher salt bath. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for me. Check out the video up in the corner, and also go ahead and subscribe to the channel while you're here. But I'll catch you guys later, so go out and cook something new.